I basically was hitting 5 figures every single month from brand deals doing it on my own. It's now something that I have.
With my mom's help, with my mom maybe hooking me up a little bit, or my mom talking me up to some of her contacts. Just saying, if you had a mother who was an 8-figure social media influencer, I think it would be a lot easier for you to get into Instagram influencing than the average person. Hey, party people, and welcome to Nicole Reacts, a show in which I, Nicole, react to online marketing gurus that I find on the internet, that other people help me find at the internet, and who find me on the internet, oddly enough. My qualifications for snark and commentary are that I've owned a marketing company for 16 years in January. I've been doing this a really long time, and I've worked with hundreds of clients on marketing strategy and implementation. So I think I know a fair bit when it comes to marketing. Now, if you find this format fun, where we look at gurus and talk about their tactics and talk about what you can learn from this sort of thing, there's a whole playlist of videos that you can either find by going to the YouTube channel, the Breaking Even Communications YouTube channel, clicking on the Nicole Reacts playlist and watching from there. Or you can go to the breakingeveninc.com/blog. That's our company website, and just click on the Nicole Reacts category and you'll see all of the videos there. Now, as I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, YouTube does not know what I am. It is reaction style content, but it's also a marketing tutorial. It's also a small business channel. So if you like this sort of content, please consider liking, subscribing, or even sharing it with someone you think might get a kick out of it. Today's person is Brock Johnson, and we've talked about him on this channel before. I will link to the video in the show notes in case you want to go watch that live stream from 6-ish months ago. But Brock is Chalene Johnson's son. Now, Brock is positioning himself as a Instagram expert, and whether we can say he's an Instagram expert or his mom is a 8-figure social media marketing person and he sort of is riding her coattails is hard to say, but I think it's interesting how often she appears on his channel. Let me show you what I mean. This is Brock's channel, and I just want to point out the various thumbnails that have Chalene in them. It seems to be about half of them. So the 2 in the top row, there's 2 in the second row, there's 2 in the third row. So you see what I mean? Like, she seems to appear on his channel a lot. And let's go look at hers by comparison. This is Chalene's channel, and if we scroll down, we don't really see anything of Brock, although it looks like she has this, like, I think this is something she laid out. I don't know why it says none, but it's suggesting Brock's channel in the middle of her page, which I think is something she's added. But if you look, he's not in a lot of her content, which I think is kind of interesting. So if we had to pick who was propping who up, I think we'd know the answer to that question. But I wanted to watch Brock's latest video, which let me just show you the thumbnail. This video is called Make Money Using Instagram Reels in 2023, Ideas for Beginners. But if you look at the actual thumbnail, it says Insta Reels, $2,500 per week. So I think it's interesting that the income claim is in a visual, so it can't really be kind of read by robots. It's not in the actual video title. I want to look at this video because I always think it's interesting when influencers and content creators, of which I would classify Brock Johnson as a content creator or an influencer, depending on how he wants to be referred. There's a big difference between how influencers, content creators make money on the internet versus small business owners. Content creators and influencers make money by working with brands and they create content, usually videos, but it could be, still photos, it could be other things too. They also might be affiliate marketing. So they're recommending products. And then if someone buys it, they're making a percentage of the sale. So they have this whole way of monetizing in a way that a small business owner uses social media much differently. So, for example, I have a co working space and I use social media to talk about that co working space. I don't make money when I post content about my co-working space in a direct way. I don't post a video and then Instagram doesn't pay me for the amount of views that video gets. Or I don't work with a company that sells stand sit desks and get paid when I post a video about the stand sit desks in my co-working space. Although I guess I could. How I make my money is people come in and use our space. And how they learn about our space is by following us on social media, among other things. So I always think it's interesting when these people position, hey, you could be making money on social media, when for most small businesses that have a complete other way to make money, that's not actually the point. And we would use it very differently if that was the point. This video is 25 minutes long. We'll periodically stop and talk about what he's talking about, but let's get this party started.
If you're ready to start making money from your Instagram Reels, then you're in the right place. Even if you have less than 10,000 followers, heck, even if you have less than 1,000 followers, in today's video, I'm going to explain to you 7 different ideas on how you can make money on Instagram. And some of these ideas are things that you can start doing today, even if you have a super low following and a super low engagement rate. I think one of the big
So you just saw that, right? Build your tribe with Brock and Chalene, or Chalene and Brock. It's just interesting. He seems to really want to establish himself as a professional, but he seems to keep referring to his mother almost to give himself authority. This is my opinion. Now, if you want to even go further down this rabbit hole of Brock Johnson, if you go to the website brock11johnson.tv, it redirects to a YouTube channel, not Brock's YouTube channel, the Tay and Brock YouTube channel. He has a couple YouTube channel with his wife that he's really trying to make happen. I'm always really fascinated with couple YouTube channels. It's not really in my sort of wheelhouse to comment on them, but I just find them in general pretty cringe unless they're documenting something really specific, like they're fixing up a medieval castle in France that they bought or something like that. I find if there's like a topic besides them being a couple, I'm interested, but just watching some random couple talk about why they moved somewhere or what they think of their pet, I don't really care, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get back to the video we were watching. I will make him bigger if there's anything important, by the way.
misconceptions on Instagram and maybe even more broadly across social media is that in order to make an income, you have to have a massive following and you have to basically be an influencer. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, according to one report today in 2023, the value of the creator economy is about $250 billion, and that is expected to double by 2027. And the creator economy essentially refers to the economy that we're talking about today, the amount of money that has changed hands for creators like yourself for posting on social media.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but unless you do have a very large audience, you will not get paid to post whatever you want on your social media. What a lot of companies are looking for is people who have audiences, not just because they're used to creating content and they can make a nice video that is on message and all that, but they want that video to be associated with that person to get in front of their audience. That's part of what these brands, I think, are paying for a little bit. Now, something that if you're like, well, I don't have a big audience, but I wouldn't mind making content for brands, something to look into is this field of user generated content. This idea that companies want real people to use their products to like record themselves talking about manipulating the products and all of that. And I think that you can do that if you don't necessarily have a big audience. But I think promising someone, even indirectly, that they can make $2,500 a week in a thumbnail on YouTube and then saying that they can make money while having just a few hundred followers, I think is a little bit misleading. Because, like I said, part of what companies are looking for is not just somebody who can talk about their product and produce interesting content, but they're looking for somebody who has an audience. Again, not all the time, but that's where the big money's gonna be. And if followers weren't important, Brock would not have spent money on ads and time and effort getting to over 500,000 followers on Instagram and getting his account verified. Just saying. I've already stopped it twice and it hasn't even been 60 seconds. Okay, I'm
And
gonna
the
let it
reality
play.
is, more than 90% of creators within the creator economy who are getting paid for posting have less than 10,000 followers.
But how much are they getting paid? Are they making their full-time income off of this, or are they making a little bit of extra money every month? Because 2,500 bucks a week is more than the average American makes.
For every Charlie D'Amelio and Kim Kardashian, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of small creators who you probably have never heard of and will never heard of, who are getting paid hundreds, if not
Will never heard of.
thousands of dollars for content every single month.
How do you know how much they're getting paid every month? I know I said I wasn't gonna stop as much, but he said this income thing so definitively that I had to like just look it up. Where is he getting this information? So these are 3 sources that I just found on Google. Okay. So let's look at them together and see if we can't paint a more full picture of how much do influencers make. So, first of all, the average social media influencer, and again, this is average, right? This is some people who are trying to do it. So, some of these people have big audiences and some of them don't. The average, according to this ZipRecruiter site, is $57,928 a year or $1,114 a week. So that is less than half of what he's said in his thumbnail, about 2,500 bucks a week. Let's look at this other source, Franklin University. The lowest paid of this group that was examined made $29,000 a year. The higher earners made 72,000. Average or median salary was 45,000. And 45,000 divided by 52 is $865, which is less than a quarter of what Brock put on his screen, $2,500 a week. And let's look at a third number just to like kind of round out our understanding here. It looks like 25% of influencers make between $1,000 and $10,000 per year. Again, much less than $2,500 a week. He's painting a very rosy picture, but if we look at these numbers that influencers are making, these higher salaries, the $70,000 and more, they probably have large audiences, and that's part of why they're making their money. So, let's get back to it.
Reason for that is that we are in a day and age where ads aren't performing as well. The average consumer is kind of bored by ads, right? We fast forward through the commercial breaks at the TV. We, whip out our phone whenever they cut to commercial.
One of Brock's more interesting things is to fill up his scripts. He'll say something and then he'll repeat it in slightly different rephrased ways. So he'll say, you know what, people aren't looking at ads anymore. And then he'll say, yeah, people are fast forwarding through TV ads. People are scrolling past ads on social media. People are not paying attention to ads at the bus stop. Like he'll say the same thing a few times without really adding any extra information to it.
Because ads generally are pretty boring. Even a lot of the Super Bowl ads that they spend tens of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars on, aren't always super engaging. But what is really engaging is whipping out your phone and scrolling through TikTok for a few hours, or pulling up YouTube on your TV and watching video after video. Social media content, because it's made by the masses for the masses, is oftentimes massively more engaging. And so brands and corporations recognize this. They realize that hiring someone with a couple thousand followers to make a post for them is going to be so much more organic, so much more authentic, and perform so much better than if they hire some paid actor to read off of a script.
It's also gonna be a lot less expensive. In the Gary Vee video that I reacted to, which I'll link in the show notes if you wanna watch it, he is talking to Anheuser-Busch in the video that I reacted to. He's talking to their corporate team, and he talks about how a certain region worked with a local or a regional burger chain to buy ad spots, so to get Anheuser-Busch in front of multiple smaller audiences and spend it instead of spending like a lot of money on one high paid spokesperson, for example. So I understand what he's saying is that, yeah, they're going to be more likely to hire you because, not only is it effective, but you're also going to be a lot less expensive than the alternative of a celebrity spokesperson.
Oftentimes going to be much more cost effective for that brand,
Yep.
because rather than hiring an entire talent agency to sort out and find the perfect actor, hiring a copywriter to write the script for that ad, hiring an entire media team to set up a photo shoot day and a filming day, and then an editing team to edit it all together, like this is tens of people who now have to make this one video
Tens of people.
that ultimately might not even perform that well. Instead, they could hire a content creator like yourself or myself who basically does all of that in house, meaning that I'm going to script my own reel. I'm going to record my own video. I'm probably going to edit it myself, and I'm going to post it to my own social media. So I'm doing all of that work, and the brand is able to then reap even greater rewards. And one last point that I want to make, especially if you're someone who's watching this right now and you have some self doubt, you're like, yeah, maybe Brock, but like people don't want to hear from me. People don't really care what I have to say. They do. And especially the people who look just like you, the people who sound just like you, the people who are in your shoes. You might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm a 65-year-old retiree and no one really cares what I have to say. I bet you other 65-year-old retirees also care what you have to say, and they care a lot more what you have to say than what some 25-year-old on Instagram has to say. And so what I'm trying to get at
Oh,
here
okay, he
is
didn't do
that
it.
there are niche markets and there are opportunities regardless of what your demographics are, how long you've been doing this, how many followers you have, how good looking you think you are or you are not. Really, if you can make content effectively, brands will pay you for that. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I am going to break down
I agree with him that there is lots of different niches, and if you do wanna make content, that there is a place for you in the market. I don't know if it is a full-time income kind of place, because so much of growing your audience, even though you could spend on ads, even though you could do partnerships with other creators, there's things you can do, but a lot of it is beyond your control too, to a certain extent. Again, unless you have a mom who makes 8 figures and who is established in the social media industry for over 20 years.
on these 7 different ideas for making money, and not all of them even revolve around having brands pay you. Some of these ideas are having you create things that you can make money off yourself. Some of these don't require any sort of brand or company or sales at all, and it can be a reliable way to make money on Instagram.
I'm really curious about
With
this.
all that being said, let's hop
Yeah.
into my 7 ideas to make money using Instagram and specifically Instagram Reels in 2023. Idea number 1 is called user generated content, but usually you're going to hear it referred to as UGC. You know how when you're watching a commercial and there's that little tiny text at the bottom of the screen that says, not a real user, paid actor, or this is a paid spokesperson, not a real user of whatever the drug is that they're promoting that day. That is essentially what UGC is. In that example, the brand is paying a actor to read off a script for them. What UGC is, however, it's essentially users, you and I, who use a product. So let's say it's this wallet, for example. And I'm going to make a video sharing my thoughts, sharing my beliefs, and it might not even be that I'm necessarily an owner or a user of this wallet. The brand is just hiring me, kind of like they would a paid actor, to talk about this wallet. And the benefit of that for the brand is, like I said earlier, they're getting more authentic content because it's being read by a real human rather than a script being read by a paid actor.
I mean, actors are people, but I think what he means is a sort of normal looking person. And what's really funny is we're recording some testimonial videos for one of our clients right now to use on social media. And I recorded an example and I sent it to the people that I wanted to talk to. And the woman that I recorded this morning said, you know what, the example you sent was really helpful. And I really liked it because he looked like a normal person and I'm a normal person. And I felt like I could, be recorded and make a video like that too. There is something to be said when someone, isn't a very polished Hollywood actor that is doing something, it feels a little bit more relatable to the rest of us. But I think the expectation with user generated content is, like I said, you're recording something and sending it to the company. You're not necessarily posting that content on your social media channels. I think that's the distinction here.
Not that paid actors aren't real humans. I
Okay.
understand they are. But
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? It's just more authentic, more organic if it's a quote unquote regular person
Okay.
rather than an actor reading off the
Sorry, Brocky, we're getting to it. It's just a little bit ahead there. Sorry.
script. That's the benefit for the brand side of things. For your side of things, the benefit is that you don't need to have a huge following in order to get into UGC because oftentimes with UGC, the brand isn't even asking you to share the content on your own social media.
They're asking a recorder for them.
They're just asking for the content so that they can use it on their own social media or maybe even in their own ads. Time commitment for UGC is at like a medium level because there is a decent amount of work that goes into writing the script, filming the video, having it edited, all of that stuff, maybe even like having negotiations or conversations with the brand.
It's interesting that he said, like, having your video edited just now, when about 2 minutes ago, he was saying that you're probably gonna be editing your own videos, which is probably true. The thing is that these companies might have some talking points that they want you to work into your content. For example, let's use the wallet because he was using that as an example. So the company might say, "I'd really like it if you talked about the size of the wallet." And really highlight that it's small enough to fit in your pocket or that it's small enough to fit in a crossbody bag, that it's easy to carry around because it's so small. Like they might want something like that worked in. And obviously, you would say it in your own words, but you would have that messaging in your mind. So even though you're writing the script and all that, there might be some things that you have to work in in terms of, features about the product or things that the company might want you to say?
I would say the time commitment is a medium, but the required number of followers is very low because
I wish rather than saying a medium amount of time, he would give us a range. For example, my friends who do this work all the time say that when they started, it took them around 10 hours per video because they kept messing up and it took them a long time to edit. But as they got good at it, it went down to 4 hours per video. You know what I mean? Something like that, because this whole medium time commitment, I have no idea what that means.
like I said, oftentimes with UGC, the brand doesn't really care about how many followers you have. They just care about your content. And if they like your content, if they like your vibe, if they like your energy, if they feel like you would be a good fit for their brand, well, then they're going to hire you to work with you. I know people who are doing UGC who are making tens of thousands of dollars per month with less than 1,000 followers, and they're getting tons of free vacations and products and things that they would regularly use anyways. And they don't have to post any of this to their social media. They're just creating content for brands on a daily basis.
Who are they? Can you give us some example accounts so that we can see what they're like?
My best recommendation to get started with UGC is first and foremost, start creating content on your own social media because if you aren't creating content or if you're not very good at creating content, then a brand isn't going to hire you, right? Because ultimately they're looking for someone who can create this final product for them, the scripting, the video, the editing, all of that. So
And they also wanna see what that final product is gonna look like. So they wanna see what your editing style is. They wanna see how you talk about things because that'll give them an idea before they hire you what their end product is gonna look like when they do.
they want someone who has demonstrated that they can already create content of a certain quality threshold. So I would recommend beginning to post on your social media or at least practicing creating content, even if you're not going to publicly share it. Begin practicing creating content for brands so that you have a portfolio so that when you are reaching out to brands, you have something to say, look, this is what I've done in the past. These are examples of my work, and this is what I can do for you. And the second tip that I would give is one that I kind of briefly hinted at a second ago, which is that you should reach out to brands. When you're first getting started with UGC, especially if you have very low following, it's going to be hard for the brands to discover you, right?
Mhm.
So you need to discover them. I would recommend finding the products that you already know, use, and absolutely love. And that way, the content you're creating for them is going to be much more genuine and authentic. And then you also probably already have the products in your house. So you can just be like, hey, I made this video for this wallet. I love it. Here's all the great aspects of it. You're making some really engaging TikTok video, for example. And then you're reaching out to the brand and saying, hey, here's my portfolio. Here's why I think we would be a good fit working together. I would love to work with you on creating some user generated content for your own social media or your own advertising purposes.
Another tip I'll say, I think that might work even better added to this, is think about what industry that you wanna get into, and then see if you can do some free work for a nonprofit that kind of fits that industry. So, for example, let's say that you wanted to get in the beauty industry. You could find out if there's a regional chapter of Dress for Success, or maybe there is a local, regional nonprofit that gives away prom dresses or something like that. And what you could do is approach them and say, "Hey, I'd love to make you some free videos for your social media. It'll help me build up my portfolio." And I don't think they necessarily say no to that. So when you approach a beauty brand and you say, "Hey, like here's some example content I did with Dress for Success," they can see that you have a passion for what's in their particular industry, in addition to also having examples of your work. So, just a little tip from me there. And I get it, you don't wanna necessarily, like, donate your time to a business who should be paying you, and don't get me wrong, the nonprofit should be paying too, but I think a lot of, especially, like, local and regional nonprofits don't have a big marketing budget, they don't have a big budget at all, so if you can help them in any way, it's a nice way to not only help your community, but to build your portfolio as well, in addition to kind of putting your toe in the industry that you wanna be creating content in.
The second idea that I have for you to make money using Instagram Reels is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is essentially you getting paid depending on how many sales you generate for a company.
It's hard to make money in affiliate marketing when you don't have much of a following.
So again, let's use this wallet as an example. I could become an affiliate for this wallet company, and then they would give me either some sort of special discount code or a special discount link. And then whenever one of my followers uses that link and checks out and purchases a wallet for themselves, I would get a certain commission fee, basically. Affiliate marketing has been around for decades, and there are people who are six, even seven figure affiliate marketers.
How many of them have audiences less than 1,000 people?
The simplest and probably most popular affiliate marketing platform is Amazon. Amazon calls their affiliate program Amazon Associates. And while I love Amazon Associates because anyone can do it, and of course, pretty much any product on the face of the earth is sold on Amazon, what I don't love about Amazon Associates is that they give a very low commission fee. It's like a very small percentage.
It's like 2 to 3%. Different departments have slightly different commissions, and I think some of them can be 7-ish percent, but it's very niche. Most products are between that kinda 2 and 3% mark.
If you're selling like a $20 wallet, let's say, you're probably only making a dollar, if not only just a few cents. So it's not a bad option, but it's also probably not the best option. The best option is probably just going directly to the source, going directly to the website of whatever company or product you want to be an affiliate for, or Googling the name of that product or that company and then the word affiliate. And you'll most likely find very quickly if they have an affiliate portal set up. Worst case scenario, if you can't find anything, you could always contact the brand directly or contact their customer service and just ask them if they have any sort of referral or affiliate program. Similar to
A lot of companies don't set up their own affiliates from scratch on their website because of the technical and other requirements of them. So a lot of them work with like a marketplace. So one of them is called impact.com, another is called Commission Junction, another one is called Share a Sale. And what they'll do is they will use these portals to offer an affiliate program. And then what you can do is make a free account, for example, on shareasale.com. You can look at what companies are on offer there and you can apply to be an affiliate directly in the portal. It's a good way to apply for multiple companies at the same time and kind of keep everything a little bit together. And just to give you an idea how a real person makes money affiliate marketing. So on the Breaking Even site, we have our favorite things page. So things like what WordPress themes we use, where we buy our domains, things like that are all linked there. And we do disclose whether they're affiliate links or not. But we have a list of things. Some of them aren't affiliate links, but a lot of them are. I've made $16 off of affiliates this year. And I would say between like Facebook, Instagram, all of that, I probably have a collective audience of like 5,000 between that group and probably about 1,000 or so a month who visit the website. So I'm not coming at this with absolutely no traffic, nor do I spend a lot of energy trying to make a little bit of money off affiliate marketing. But the way that these people act like you're going to make thousands of dollars a month affiliate marketing, I don't mean to kill your dreams, okay? I'm just saying that they make it sound so easy. And I'm telling you that it is not the easy money they're making it out to be unless you have a large audience. Okay. Once you have a large audience, these things become easier. But if you have a kind of normal sized small business audience and you occasionally recommend products, you might make yourself enough to take yourself out to a nice lunch or dinner at the end of the year. And even if you are really on it, you're not going to make necessarily a full time income. I wish it was different. I wish it was as easy as these people make it sound, but it's not. And I'm sorry.
UGC content, the time commitment for this is medium because while it is relatively quick
What does medium mean? What does medium commitment mean?
and easy to get signed up, it usually just takes like an email address and maybe, a link to your Instagram account. The actual creating of the content is what might take a little bit more time, scripting your reel, editing your reel, that sort of thing. But the required following is zero. I mean, a lot of these affiliate marketing platforms don't even require you to have a social
Yeah, but how are you gonna make money? Who's gonna click on the link if nobody's following you?
media. All they want to know is, are you a person? Like, do you have an email address? And that's fine because essentially you're
They're only gonna pay you if you make them a sale. Of course, they don't mind. What I'm trying to say is, okay, if I have no followers and I share a link, who's gonna see it?
saying, hey, brand, I would love to bring you more customers. I would love to promote for you essentially for free. It's no risk to the brand. They're only paying you if you actually generate sales for them. So
Yeah.
a lot of brands offer affiliate marketing nowadays. In fact, we even offer affiliate marketing. We just launched it a few months ago within the Insta Club Hub. So a lot of you watching this, listening to this right now might already be in the Insta Club Hub or you might be familiar with the Insta Club Hub. The Insta Club Hub is my mom and myself's Instagram membership site where we do live trainings, weekly updates, trending audios, quick video lessons, all of that good stuff. And we actually just recently rolled out our own affiliate program. And ours is pretty cool because rather than paying you like 20%, we just give you cash. So if you sign up to become an Insta Club Hub affiliate, and you get someone else to join the club, you get someone else to join the Insta Club Hub and become a member, we pay you $50. And in my opinion, that's pretty flippin' awesome. If you want to become an Insta Club Hub affiliate, by the way,
Oh my God. I gotta go see how much it costs. I love how both this was a giant commercial in the middle of the video and also lightly seems to take advantage of the fact that people, I think, understand a flat dollar figure in general more than they understand fractions or percentages. If you do the math and 20% works out to more than 50 bucks, I kind of don't care whether you call it 20% or whether you call it a flat amount. If it's more money, I'm more interested. You know what I mean? But I thought I would look up to see how much this Insta Club Hub costs. It costs $50 a month. I'm sorry, guru pricing. It costs $47 a month. So if they pay you 50 bucks, basically they're kind of giving the first month free to the person. I mean, the person is paying for it, but they're paying you for that referral. So if that person stays longer than a month, they've already made money. And what they're thinking is people will stay at least 2 months because let's face it, if something is on auto renew, I think a lot of us have a tendency to sort of forget that it's gonna bill again, and then it bills again, and you're like, "Oh, crap, like, I'm stuck with that for another month." So, it sounds altruistic, but if they stay longer than a month, they're already making money off of this offer. So, anyway, just wanted to look into that actual price because I noticed that while he scrolled forever on that sales page, I didn't see a price anywhere.
the link is down in the show notes, or you can visit instaclubhub.com/affiliates. And there's an S on the end of that word. So instaclubhub.com/affiliates. And then you can get paid for promoting the Insta Club Hub. If you're an Insta Club Hub member,
You're not getting paid to promote it, you're getting paid if someone buys it. You're promoting it for free, and you're getting paid if someone eventually buys it. But until someone does, you're doing it for free. You are not getting paid to promote
I
it.
highly recommend signing up just in case you ever end up promoting it in the future, or you ever, post about one of our live trainings and then someone's like, "Hey, what is that live training? I see you're always doing these things. What is that?" You can get them to join the club, which they probably would have anyways, but then you can
They
actually get paid
probably
for it
would
as
have
well.
any
The other awesome
Yeah, they probably would have anyway.
benefit of affiliate marketing is that there usually aren't contracts and there are very rarely commitments or minimums. It's not like you have to post X number of times per month, or you have to,
If they were paying you, they could require that, but since they're not paying you, they can't really require anything now, can they?
have X number of followers. A lot of the affiliate programs that I've been a part of them for like 10 years now. I've been promoting these things since I was like a freshman in college, and I'm still technically a part of the affiliate program, even though I haven't posted about them for years. The third idea that I have for you to make money using Instagram Reels in 2023 is paid shoutouts. Now, before I even explain this one to you, let me say I am not a fan myself of this model. I'm not a fan of people using this as a tool to grow, but hey, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm here to give ideas. That's the purpose of today's episode. And so essentially, the idea with paid shoutouts is that other people are paying you to shout them out on your page.
But if I have no followers, I could offer to shout them out all I want, but who is watching it? Who is hearing my shout out?
Just like a brand would be paying you to promote their business, instead, it's other Instagram users are paying you to promote their Instagram. I know some Instagram coaches who have grown large followings through this method. But again, it's not my place to pass judgment. And I'm not
I'm not here to pass judgment. I mean, my mom is all over my channel and she is super well known in the social media industry, but I'm not going to judge how other people have built their audiences. Okay. Sounds like you probably shouldn't.
here to share my opinion. I'm here to give you ideas. And so this is an idea for making money using Instagram Reels. The initial time commitment is quite high because you have to build a large following yourself. Most people aren't going to pay for a shout out from an Instagram account that has 100 followers, but they're probably going to pay for a shout out from an account that has 100,000. And they're definitely going to pay for a shout out from an account that has a million followers. So the initial time commitment for growing this following
How much do you think Brock wants a million Instagram followers right now? I mean, he's more than halfway there, but how much do you think it's bugging him that he doesn't have a million yet?
is pretty big. But maybe you're watching this today and you have 50,000 followers, or you have 100,000 followers on some account that you don't really use that much anymore. maybe this could be an alternative revenue stream for you on that account. And the cool thing is, once you have this large following, once you have invested that initial time commitment, the time commitment for promoting someone or giving someone a shout out is probably relatively low. Oftentimes, I see these paid shout out pages actually just using content that the shout out the person being shouted out, is creating themselves. So let's say I was doing a shout out on Brock Johnson and I was shouting out Chalene Johnson because she paid me to do so. She would be the one creating the video, and then I would just be posting it on her behalf to my page. The follower commitment is pretty high, or it's much higher than all of these other ideas that I'm sharing with you.
I'd really love an example of one of these kinds of accounts that isn't weird.
One revenue stream that I do know was very popular on Instagram in the late 2010s. It's less popular nowadays, but it's definitely still around, is what's called feature accounts or repost accounts, or they're often called like niche or community pages, where essentially instead of following Brock Johnson on Instagram, you're following like best Instagram tips on Instagram. And instead of just being
It's interesting because I had a potential client come in the office, I don't know, like a year ago. And we were talking about he had built up a few 100,000 people on an Instagram account and he was trying to monetize it. And what this Instagram account was basically resharing of extreme sports clips. I think it was all around snowboarding, I think if I remember correctly. So he was trying to figure out, okay, I built this audience. How do I make money off of them? And the thing is that there wasn't like a community around the content. It was like people would randomly find this account because it did have a lot of videos on it, but it's not like this guy, would go on a live stream every week and talk to people about what was going on snowboarding this week. It's not like this guy actively platformed snowboarding stars and what they were doing. Like there was no like set community around it. So it was really hard to figure out like, okay, like, are you going to do, sponsored content? Are you going to do merch? Are you going to do affiliate marketing? Like, how are you going to monetize this audience? And it wasn't really clear because there wasn't that community. I think these pages exist, but I don't think a lot of them are monetizing because of these reasons.
being one person like myself running the account, that page is just shouting out all the other Instagram coaches and reposting all of the content with permission and approval from all of the other Instagram coaches.
I don't know how much permission asking is happening, to be completely honest with you. I've seen accounts just reshare stuff and sometimes they'll tag the original creator, like it's the literal least you could do. But I don't see necessarily a lot of these people, asking for permission and only resharing with permission. When we work with small businesses, sometimes a customer will email in a picture or a video or something. Like one of our clients is a lobster pound that ships lobster all over the United States. And so people will periodically reach out over Facebook and send a picture of them at the Thanksgiving table with their lobsters, or it's my mom's 70th birthday and we ordered lobsters, and they'll send a picture. And so what we do when we see that is we just ask their permission if it's okay to repost it. And most of the time they say yes, but we want to get that permission explicitly because we are representing the business. And I don't want the business to get in trouble for resharing content they're not supposed to. But I'm not really sure these meme channels, I don't think they're that careful. I even think some traditional broadcasters aren't that careful. I've seen creators on TikTok say, everyone was sending me this clip from the BBC, and the BBC like basically reused one of my TikToks without, and I was never contacted by them. They put my handle and everything, but they just reshared my content without my express permission. So I think this happens way more often than he's implying here.
Coaches. So it's a way for them to get notoriety, right? Because they're getting shared on this hopefully larger page. And then this page gets followers because they're able to bring in all of the best content from a wide variety of sources. If you follow any meme accounts on Instagram, that's basically what's going on with those type of accounts. My fourth idea for you to make money using Instagram Reels is brand deals, brand partnerships, and sponsorships. This is very similar to idea number one.
This is how most influencers make most of their money, is through this stuff. This is
UGC, except for the difference here is that the brand is paying you not just for the content that you are creating, but also for the visibility that you provide. Because with brand deals and partnerships, usually you are posting the content that you make to your own page. This is probably
you have to post it with attribution. You have to acknowledge that it is an advertisement, and different platforms have different ways for you to do that. On TikTok, sometimes there's like an eligible for commission, and I think there's even a sponsored tag on TikTok. Sometimes if you're just using a platform that doesn't have the ability to tag it that way, you can just hashtag sponsored post or otherwise imply in the text content and in the video itself that you are being paid to create the content, but you do have to disclose that. That's part of it.
Probably one of the biggest areas where people have a big misconception thinking that they need tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers to get into brand deals. And that's absolutely not true. If you haven't already, we did an episode a few weeks ago with Lindsay, the founder of FYPM, which is a really great platform. It's essentially a glass door for content creators. So you can see exactly how much other people are making from what brands and even how much the brands are paying creators based off how many followers they have. It's a really great platform. Highly recommend checking out the platform and that episode that we did.
Oh, this is interesting that this exists. This is good because I think otherwise big companies in particular could take advantage of small creators and the ability to share this information I think is really good. So that's awesome.
But to summarize it, you don't have to have a lot of followers to make a lot of money with brand deals. And in fact, you deserve to be paid even if you don't have tens of thousands of followers yet. So for this, I'm going to set the time commitment at a medium level. Like you do have to create the reel, you do have to create the content, and you do need some followers. Like you can't have no Instagram or no followers at all. You do need some followers at least on some somewhat of an active Instagram. So the time commitment is medium and the following required is
What is a medium time commitment? I still don't understand this.
also medium, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed with the idea of a medium sized following. Even if you have a small sized following, this can be effective for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course, the more followers you have, most likely the more you're going to get paid. Some tips that I can give you with brand deals is first and foremost, it's usually best to get started with UGC or with affiliate marketing because that gives you a good portfolio. And then when you are reaching out to or having these conversations and negotiations with brands, you're not going off of nothing. You have a pass to draw on. You can say, hey, I made this post. It was an affiliate post for a wallet, but I sold 50 wallets last year and I only had 200 followers. Now I have 400 followers and they're even more engaged than a year ago. Or even if you're not doing affiliate marketing, you can at least have a portfolio of UGC content so you can show the brand who you're hoping to work with, hey, here's an example of what working with me might look like. Here's an example of what one of the videos that I create for you and your company could look like. And then from there are a few different routes you could take. One option is to just wait for the brands to find you. I don't think that's usually
Yeah.
the best unless you have a large following or a big name, or unless you're maybe trying to work with like a super small local brand that you know the person. So then it's going to be easy for them to find you. That's usually not the best option when you're first getting started out. Usually the best option when you are getting started out is to either reach out to the brand yourself, which again, I highly recommend checking out FYPM to get a good idea of what these different brands are, how
FYPM stands for F you pay me, in case you were wondering.
much they're paying and that sort of thing. And also, I should say, we actually have an entire course on this subject. It's
Oh,
called Brand Deals
oh my god. You do not need to buy their course.
101. Pretty creative name, don't you think? I'll put the link to that down in the show
Brand
notes as
Deals
well. That's a
101.
course that we created to help you figure out, what's
So we're gonna scroll forever and they're not gonna tell us how much it costs. I'll look for it after.
the pitch letter going to look like? What is my media kit going to look like? What do I actually say in that email? How do I
$197 for this course. You know what else you can do? You can talk to a couple of people who do this already, and I'm sure they are happy to help you get started.
find the person to reach out to within the company? So all of that is included in the course. I just wanted to shout that out in case you need any additional tips around the idea of brand deals. But another alternative option, kind of option number 3 for brand deals, is hiring and working with an agent or an agency. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to this, and not all agencies were created equally. I recently
I think if you have a really small audience, I don't think most agencies will want to take you on. I feel like this is a problem for when you're bigger, but I know he's making this video generally for everybody, whether you have a small audience or have a few 100,000 people. It's going to be different depending on how big your audience is and how far along you are in your content creation sort of journey and who else you're connected with and all kinds of other factors. So it's really hard. I know this is a general video, but There are some of these things that really don't apply unless you have an audience.
Received a great recommendation from Modern Millie. She gave me the contact info for her agent. I reached out to him and he now manages all of my brand deals for me. But I got to tell you, for my first 4 years of doing brand deals, I did it all myself. And while there were
I think for me, what drives me a little bit crazy about Brock is how he talks about how he kind of started and grew his Instagram journey as if he is one of us, as if he is just a normal person who started. But he started way ahead of everyone else. And honestly, I'm okay with that. If he would just acknowledge it, I would be fine with it. I'm not saying he doesn't know about Instagram. I am saying that him talking about growth and his growth compared to my growth, there's just certain things that are possible for his growth that I don't think are possible for mine. What do I
definitely
know?
challenges and hiccups and learning lessons along the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't the end of the world. And I did have a successful brand partnership streak going. I basically was hitting 5 figures every single month from brand deals, doing it on my own. It's now something that I have
With my mom's help, with my mom maybe hooking me up a little bit or my mom talking me up to some of her contacts. Just saying, if you had a mother who was an 8-figure social media influencer, I think it would be a lot easier for you to get into Instagram influencing than the average person.
passed off to an expert, aka the agency, and I'm very happy with them so far. But again, you really need to vet the agent or the agency who you're going to be working with. I recommend
It's so funny how sometimes when I'm meeting with clients, they'll ask me questions like, well, what happens when I get 100 orders a day? Or what happens when this really blows up, essentially? And what I always tell them, and I'll tell you here, is when you have that problem, you'll have the money to solve the problem. So I'm just going to say, I don't know why he's spending a lot of time talking about agencies here. I don't think most people watching this video are in that position.
finding someone who has been recommended by other content creators because then you have more of a trust, higher level of trust when you're going into it. All right, my fifth idea for you to make money on Reels in 2023 is called ads on Reels. Now, I did an entire video, an entire YouTube video, an entire podcast about this topic. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it up down in the show notes, or it's also going to be floating up here somewhere if you're watching this on YouTube. But essentially what ads on Reels are is it's a new program being rolled out by Instagram. So not everyone has access to it yet. But essentially, once you sign up, Instagram is going to be able to place a small banner on the bottom of your Reels so that as people are scrolling through and watching Reels, advertisers can promote their own products and services on your Reels, and then you are paid based off how many views that Reel gets. So this is very similar to what used to be called Reels bonuses or the Reels Play bonus. A lot of people are familiar with that. Unfortunately, that program has been discontinued. That program was where Instagram was paying you just for the number of views you got on your Reel. Now they're only paying you for the views you get on your Reels that also have little ads banners at the bottom of them. So unfortunately, it's not as great as it once was, but it's still a way that you can make some extra money.
And again, this feature is not available to everybody. And when you have over 500,000 Instagram followers like he does, I'm sure you get access to these features a lot quicker. But someone like me who has less than 1,000 Instagram followers, when will I get access to this? And I know that he can't, there's no way he has any control or can tell me, when I will have access to it, right? I don't expect Brock to have any control over Instagram, but bringing this up like an option when the average person doesn't have access to it, I'm not sure why.
On Instagram every single month. The time commitment for that is low to medium because basically all you have to do is create the
What is a low commitment?
reel and it only takes a few seconds to sign up for the program. And the following required is very low. I don't believe there is a following requirement to turn on this new feature. If there is, it's going to be a very low following.
The thing with Instagram Reels is that people who aren't your followers are likely to see them. So we had one client who I met with last week and we were going over her stats and I showed her that the in-feed post she had on Instagram, so the still photos, we looked and it was, people followers versus non-followers, 100% of the people who saw it were followers. Whereas the reels, like 10% of the people who saw her reels were followers, and the other 90% were people who did not follow her account. So I think the reason they don't care as much about the follower count for this Instagram Reels ad thing is that your reels get a lot more views than other kinds of content and they get pushed out to non-followers anyway. So
Requirements. So not a big deal to have a massive following, not necessary for ads on Reels. Idea number 6 is probably the most common way that people make money from their Instagram Reels, and that is promoting your own thing, whether it's your own ebook, your own product, your own service, your
This is what all small businesses use Instagram for, right? We use Instagram to promote our own products and services.
own whatever, selling something, basically, using your reel to promote and sell something that you have created. Of all of the ideas,
I think this is a little bit of a cheat, Brock, because the beginning of this video, it was all making money using Instagram Reels. But I'm not making money on the Instagram Reels, am I? I'm making money selling my products and services, but I'm using the Instagram Reel as a vehicle. I don't know. I feel like this isn't quite a real one. Just saying.
given you, this is probably the idea that has the highest time commitment, because not only do you have to make the reel, you also probably want to have somewhat of a following in order to convert those followers into customers. And then
Ye
also there's the time commitment of actually creating the thing, whether it's one-on-one coaching or a course or
So what he's doing here is he's saying, okay, so most of this video has been for people who are influencers and content creators. So people who want to monetize their content. But he's recognizing that there's a whole group of people watching these videos that already have a business. They are already like they have a florist or they're selling hand knit sweaters that they make on Etsy. Like they have like a thing that they're already doing, whether it's a product or a service that they're selling. So he's like, "Oh, this idea I guess will cover that whole group of people."
special crochet beanie, it takes time to create this product or service. And of
Yeah.
course, the income potential for this is also very high. If you are creating a very
Yeah, imagine that. You're gonna get paid more if someone can buy something than by somebody watching something. That makes total sense to me.
comprehensive course that you're selling for a few $1,000s, or you are selling like a mastermind workshop that's going to be like 3 days in person and you're selling it for like $20,000, you can make a lot of money.
Yes, that is so realistic. I am hosting an in-person workshop. It's gonna be 3 hours long in January, and I'm gonna charge 150 bucks a person, mainly because 'cause I'm serving lunch. The audacity of these people. Can you imagine $20,000 for 3 days? That's like a semester of college, and I don't think you're gonna learn that much in 3
Selling
days.
these sorts of things with your Instagram reels, but it's going to require a lot more time. It's going to require probably more followers. Not necessarily, though. It's going to require a lot more trust and connection with your followers, definitely. But you know what they say, nothing in life that's worth having will come easily. So if you think it's worth having, tens of thousands of dollars every single month from selling things that you've created on your Instagram reels, then, be ready to put in the time, energy, and effort to create that thing. Idea number 7 kind of piggybacks off of idea number 6, and that is promoting your own
I thought he said there was gonna be 6 total ideas, but I guess there's gonna be 7.
things, but promoting them within the Instagram shop. You can now connect
Promoting your own products, idea 6, promoting your own products in the Instagram shop, idea 7. These aren't 2 separate ideas. In case you're wondering what he's talking about, you probably have noticed that on Instagram, some products are clickable. You'll be scrolling and you'll see like a pair of jeans or something, and there's a little dot, and you click on it, and it brings you to a web page where you can buy those jeans. So, how this is set up is you can make what's called a product catalog. So, you can make it so that if your website has e commerce on it, it will automatically pull from your product data feed. So, when you add a new product to your website, it will pull in to this product catalog. And you can set up essentially like an Instagram and a Facebook shop because they're both kind of connected together. And it allows you to tag products on Instagram. It also allows you to have a shop tab on your Facebook page. If you want to learn more about it, let me know and I'll make a video. But essentially, it's called Meta Business Suite. And if you look up, like I said, Commerce Manager or uh, Product Catalog back there, you should be able to get to those sections and you'll see what I mean. But typically, you need to be selling something online. You typically need to have an e commerce website set up to participate in this. So, even this idea is actually a pretty small portion of his audience will actually qualify for it because you do need to sell products. And there's certain kinds of products you can't sell, like guns, makes sense, right? But other kinds of things too, like cash equivalents. Like my gift certificate website is not eligible for this program. And my services actually aren't eligible for this program. I can't sell services through this commerce manager. It has to be products. So, anyway, let's get back to it.
multiple different shopping platforms platforms, including Shopify, directly into Instagram. And the cool thing here is that then when people go to check out, they don't have to like go to some separate link or go to the link in your bio. They can check out right within Instagram. And often
And just so you know too, part of why they're doing this is because Facebook and Instagram wants to be a payment processor, and they're charging a 5% transaction fee. And those of us who do e-commerce stuff are like, "Huh, that's a fair bit higher than what I'm being charged by Square, Stripe, Authorize.net, or whatever online processor you're using." So Facebook is definitely getting their cut too. That's part of why they're pushing this.
sometimes Instagram will even give them sort of like little discounts that Instagram is basically paying for and not you. For example, I've seen that when people
Basically, Instagram is copying TikTok shops by doing this. Because sometimes you'll log into TikTok and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, here's a coupon to get this thing for, 10 cents or something." So I think what happened to Instagram saw how successful TikTok shops are, and they're basically copying this right now.
create an Instagram shop, you can enable this little feature so that the first 30 customers get 20% off. And that encourages more people to use the Instagram shop, which Instagram is a fan of. That gets you more sales, which I think you're a fan of. But the other cool thing is that you are now not required to give people the 20% off. Instagram is essentially paying you to make up for that 20% discount. It's all a part of Instagram trying to incentivize and get more people to use the Instagram shop. And unfortunately, at the time of recording this, you cannot add digital products to
Mhm.
Instagram shops. I
Yep.
know it's a bummer. I really hope that in the future you can add digital products to an Instagram shop. But how it currently is set up on Instagram is you can only sell physical products within the Instagram shop. So,
Yep.
again, if you're someone who sells
There's also, like, a way to do a product catalog with real estate, and I think 1 or 2 other sort of very special use cases, but definitely if you are a real estate agent, there is a way to have it pull in your listing services stuff, so just FYI.
crocheted beanies or you sell, handmade wallets, whatever it may be, and you have a Shopify, I highly recommend linking that up
You don't need to have a Shopify, you just need some kind of e-commerce site. Like I said, if you're using Etsy, that's fine. If you have WooCommerce set up on your WordPress website, it works with basically all of them, so it's not just a Shopify
to
thing.
your Instagram. And not only can you promote it in your Instagram reels and tell people to go to the shop on your profile, you can oftentimes tag your products right on the post. So let's say I was, again, using this wallet, I was making a reel about this wallet and I was holding it in the reel. I could tag that in the reel itself. And then someone could actually tap right on the reel and check out right there without even having to navigate through the Instagram shop. So it's a pretty cool way to make some extra money on Instagram, especially if you're someone who already has physical products. Now, with all of these ideas laid out, I hope you have some new, fresh perspective on how you can make money on Instagram Reels. But with that being said, my mom actually just a few weeks ago put out an episode of this podcast, which I will link in the description. It will also be floating right here about how you can make more sales on Instagram, right? Because a lot of these ideas revolve around being able to sell, being able to promote, being able to organically and authentically talk about the products that you are into, the products
He sold this Insta Club Hub. He sold his like brand deals 101, and now he's like, go watch my mom's video. So he sold like 3 things in
you
this
are recommending,
broadcast.
even the products you've created. And so that's a really important baseline, foundational, fundamental that you should have really with any of these 7 ideas. So I highly recommend checking out that episode. It is 5 steps to sell on social media. And my mom is walking you through how she has literally made millions of dollars from her Instagram and her Instagram stories. So I highly recommend checking that out. Thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget to subscribe.
Oh my god. I love how we keep using Chalene Johnson as the example of what we can all aspire to be. See what I mean about his stuff being really tied in with her stuff? He seems to like kind of want to be standing on his own, in particular with the fact that his website URL actually redirects to his couples channel and not his business channel. But yeah, I mean, if you want to try a couple of these things, I'm not saying that you can't make money. I'm saying that his little $2,500 per week in the thumbnail was super misleading. So that's a huge reason why I wanted to talk about this video. If you want to do it on the side while keeping your day job, that's totally cool. If you want to explore making content and building your own audience, I think that's really neat. That's what I'm doing here. But expecting it to fund your whole lifestyle, in particular when you have a small audience, I don't think is realistic. And pretending that it is, I think, does a real disservice to people. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you have a guru, a topic, video you want me to react to, you can leave it as a comment on this video. Or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form of our website, breakingeveninc.com/contact. That goes right to me and I'll be able to see you. If you want to lightly keep in touch, a great way to do that is our monthly email newsletter. If you go to breakingeveninc.com/newsletter, you can see past issues there and sign up right on that page. So you can kind of preview it before you commit. And if you enjoy this content, I hope you stick around. There's a whole playlist, but if you hit subscribe, you will see that every week I post a new video to this particular playlist, and we have a lot of fun here. So thanks so much for watching. And remember, these marketing gurus will just keep on coming. But the good news is you have a friend, and that's me in the marketing industry who's not afraid to call them on all their bullshit. Take care.